Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. I gotta say, just straight up, I thoroughly enjoyed tonight's episode of NXT. I thought we got great build to the NXT Women's Championship match in particular. Got some great exhibition matches that kind of really highlighted lower card talent. The North American Championship picture continues to heat up. The NXT Tag Title match had a great segment on the challenger side tonight. And yeah, on the whole, my hype for TakeOver Phoenix continues to build. Ashton, what do you think about tonight's NXT?
I really enjoyed tonight's NXT, and I'm really hoping, because we kind of know I guess we do know four now. We know four matches that are going to happen at TakeOver Phoenix. Or at least we can assume four matches, and that's going to be, Black Ciampa, Baszler Belair, War Raiders Undisputed Era, Gargano Ricochet, and that magical fifth match is the one that we've been waiting for, and I think we might have found out what it's going to be based on the final moments of tonight's episode of NXT. And all I really have to say is I really just hope that Matt Riddle does get cleared if his injury was a legit injury and like a shoot injury and not just a work. I hope he does get cleared in time for Phoenix, because that would be a great fifth match for that card.
Absolutely. I completely agree. With that said, man, let's get right into it. Our first segment, Heat of the Night. I've got no heats of the night, man. Even the things that maybe on a fandom level I wish could have been a bit different. I think just looking at how the company operates, I really can't, take any kind of umbrage with it. I'm cool with it. So no heats of the night on my end. What about you, brother?
No, yeah, I have no heats of the night either. This was a really fun show, and even though there was a questionable decision, at least in our eyes, at the end of the show, it's not necessarily something that is going to be like this great devastating tragedy that has long-lasting effects that'll ruin everyone's lives forever.
Yeah, certainly not. So with that said, let us get right into our NXT review, and we open up with the Street Profits in action against the Metro Brothers, who I think are the second coming.
DJ.
Yeah, who I think are the second coming of Deuce and Domino, personally, with their ring attire.
It's kind of funny too, because Chris and DJ, where do we know those names from, John?
The writers of Lucha Underground, which we've done 2 interviews with them, and you can find both on the TwitWoW channel.
That's right.
And Ashton, I really got nothing much to say about this, man. This is a glorified squash match as far as I was concerned. Street Profits win with a beautiful Montez Ford frog splash. As I said on my
reaction, the amount of air that Ford got on the frog splash was very impressive. I would say he probably cleared the top rope by a good 4 feet.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It looked magnificent. Street Profits get the win. Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is one little, just a fun fact than anything that I wanted to kind of toss in there.
Sure.
Montez Ford has the best broad jump, or at least he had the best broad jump in the Performance Center as of, I want to say September of 2017. He jumped 11 feet 2 inches, which would be exceptional even if he was an NFL player.
Yeah, that's insane, dude. They
didn't do vert. They didn't do vert, unfortunately. Otherwise, I could spout off one of those facts at you as well. But broad jump is a pretty strong indicator that his vert would be crazy good too. I'm guessing his vert's got to be a minimum of 37, 38 inches, if not 40 plus.
Right. Yeah, Montez Ford is incredible. They get the win again relatively quickly. And then post-match, they get assaulted by Forgotten Sons. They seem to hold their own when it's Cutler and Blake. As soon as Riker enters the mix, though, it's not just a man advantage. It's just, you could tell qualitatively that Riker stands out at the Forgotten Sons. And this is coming from me, and I'm a fan of the whole faction. But I know that Riker's definitely the star here. He lays them out.
It's like, as far as perception goes, it's like Ford, Dawkins, Cutler, and Blake are all C+ players, and then Riker is a B+ player.
Yeah, he comes in, he hits a sit-out choke slam on Ford that I thought looked great, and then Dawkins tried fighting back, and he pretty much gets hit with the Forgotten Sons finisher, the inverted DDT, and the single stomp off the rope.
Yeah, I love the look of that move. That's great.
Oh, dude, you're talking to a Forgotten Sons fan here. You know that. I love the double team finish. I think it's cool. Riker is a beast. Ford, again, had a great moment with Splash. So all in all, this whole segment, I think, had a lot of people coming out looking good. And the idea of a Street Profits Forgotten Sons program, just to keep it succinct, I love that lower card tag teams are working together, man. I love that we're having those kinds of programs that aren't necessarily about the titles immediately, but like every win matters, so that you know whoever comes out on the winning side of this feud, they're closer to contendership than they were before this feud. So yeah. I like it. I'm friends with it. So that's all I got to say about this. If there's anything you want to say, we can move on.
I think one of my favorite tropes in wrestling that I just want more of is like consistent number one contendership, actual like matches, like not just having matches for the sake of, oh, this is a match between these two entities. Like actually say either A, this is a number one contendership match, or B, the winner of this match will get a number one contendership match. Like I want there to be stakes in everything.
I mean, dude, I can tell you, as a guy that grew up in the Ruthless Aggression era, and you know how much I love that era, one of the things I did like, you had qualifying matches. You had beat the clock sprints. You know, you had fun, creative concepts to establish a hierarchy or even just an outright contender. I don't like that the writing, now I feel like they're kind of veering away from that, to be fair. They are kind of veering away from that lately, to be fair. But I don't like that for so long, we just kind of got in the habit, you know, us accepting it and them doing it, of contendership being established. Oh, you beat the champion in a non-title match? Let's see if you can beat a champion again with the gold on the line. And here's the thing. Brock Lesnar, apparently, I don't know if it was a book or if he just released like an online statement, but there was a time like he talked about like his whole experience and why he left WWE the first time. And one story that stuck out to me was they were doing a live event in Miami, you know, Rock's hometown. And they were like, oh, Rock's going over. And Brock's like, well, that's still like, I beat him for the title. If he's able to beat me at this live event, I shouldn't be the champion. He should be the champion. I don't really like this idea of a champion losing on like this throwaway show. And he did business, but I completely agreed with Brock. Like if you have your champion on Raw, like if you had Dean Ambrose, for example, when he was Intercontinental Champion, which he's not any longer, but if you had him losing to Apollo Crews, to me, like Apollo Crews should be IC champion. There shouldn't be a rematch. There shouldn't be this whole thing. So you avoid that by doing exactly what you just said and like more outright and just in a more thorough way, establishing your contenders. You know, you don't really need to make it that convoluted. We like simplicity when it's done well. So
yeah, it's such a babyface concept too. Like Brock totally outed himself as a babyface with that quote because like the whole idea of non-title matches is almost like a heel construct to be able to, you know, have a match with an opponent without any actual risk.
Yeah. Well, I think for him, it's all about like if wrestling, and you and I have been saying this for so long, I feel like we're one of the few wrestling podcasts that do, you know, that wrestling is a kind of theater. Theater is derived so much from perception. You have to manipulate the audience's perception. And Brock had this perception, especially when he came in, of like this freak fucking athlete that could beat anybody. So if The Rock's just able to come in and beat Lesnar, not that The Rock wasn't impressive in his own time, but, you know, why is this man WWE champion? That it's just, and that's the thing. Like, it would be the same thing. That's why I'm glad NXT doesn't do that. You've never had, in my mind, a title match set up because somebody came in and beat Tommaso Ciampa. It's just not how you do business.
No, yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I can't even remember the last time that, at the very least with the world title. I'm sure there are examples with like the tag titles and stuff like that. But with the world title, I can't tell you the last time, if ever, a contender was named because they got a win over the actual champion in non-title, you know, fashion.
Yeah, so I mean, just to kind of wrap it all up on my end, I completely agree with what you're saying, man. I feel like that's how you do wrestling, really. It's not even like this revolutionary concept. It's just how wrestling is done. And yeah, if you really started doing that with the tag titles and stuff by having these lower card feuds, you know, you create more interest because now, you know, if Street Profits beat Forgotten Sons, hypothetically, I look at them in a whole new light after this, and I'm like, oh, well, maybe them in Undisputed Era, maybe they are going to be on a collision course. You know, that's how you get that kind of buzz going. So I'm actually excited for this program. I think it's two, I don't want to say great teams. I feel like that'd be hyperbolic. You know, I feel about Street Profits, but they're two solid teams. Yeah, two solid teams going at it, and we're definitely going to have more of a hierarchy develop, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So, yeah, if there's anything else you want to say about it, we can move on.
No, we agree on pretty much everything, head to toe. Let's get on to our next segment, which is the Aleister Black promo. And he basically tells Ciampa that he's going to absolve him of his sins, and that since they are both welcomed back into Full Sail next week, that they shouldn't wait until Phoenix to have their fight.
Yeah, this is pretty much like your by the numbers Aleister Black promo, which isn't to say it wasn't enjoyable. You know, I just noticed he's been using the line absolve you of your sins, like he used that with Gargano. I do like that he's itching to fight. I still think Aleister Black has this aura about him right now, where he's just such a legit fucking badass. I think the promo came off really well. I'm hyped as fuck for their rematch. I think it's going to be so good. I don't know if it's going to borrow anything from their original title match, or if they're just going to do like something completely different, or maybe a mix of both. I'm here for it though, whatever the fuck it is. I don't think Black stock has ever been higher. And yeah, this is a solid promo. I enjoyed it.
Yep. All right. Up next, we got a Bianca Belair promo in the ring. And I mean, really, as expected, she does say that she is, got her eyes on the NXT Women's Championship. She says it's her time to start her climb. She says about how she has 20/20 vision as far as the NXT Women's title goes. And then as she's about to say that she is undefeated, she gets cut off by Shayna Baszler's music, who comes out to tell Bianca that you might be the strongest, you might be the fastest, but you're not the smartest. And if you had half a brain, you might realize that it doesn't really matter how big and strong your arms are, because I'm going to rip them off at TakeOver Phoenix. And of course, Bianca does the thing. And then she said the only thing her arms are going to be doing at Phoenix is holding up the title. And then Shayna says that she's going to change Bianca's vocabulary from undefeated to overrated. And we get a dueling undefeated, overrated chant from the NXT Full Sail crowd. And then we get Bianca slapping Shayna and then escaping out of the ring and continuing to talk trash on her way up the ramp. So pretty solid segment. I did see in our chat, Darkstar said that he was questioning the Bianca Shayna promo because he wasn't sure who to root for, and it made him feel like Shayna is retaining at Phoenix. I feel almost the opposite. Like, I feel like this promo made Bianca feel like more of a legit contender than anything else that's been done prior to this, including her undefeated win.
Yeah, dude, I just got to say, for me, I enjoyed the promo on both sides. I like the confidence that Bianca spoke with. She definitely has a swagger about her when she's on the mic, and I want to see that mature more, because I think it's still embryonic. And I'd really like to see her, like, with a bit more time in developmental, to show more of that swagger. We talk about how, like, when an Andrade spoke when he was NXT champion, how he moved around the ring and he used the ring and this and that. I'd like Bianca to get to, like, a similar level with this, right? Like, own the ring. You're in there. You're the EST. Own that space. And speaking of owning that space, I got to be honest, dude. How Shayna has come along on the mic, like, Ronnie, take fucking notes. Like, yeah. I'm sorry, man, but like
Shayna is like a top, I would say, I really don't want to overshoot this. Top 5 talker on as far as women go on the WWE roster, like under WWE contract, regardless of what brand.
I mean, just to keep it concise, brother, the way I see it is Ronda calls herself the baddest woman on the planet. Shayna exudes it. Like, it doesn't need to be a nickname for her. Yeah. I honestly,
that shit.
I don't even care if I'm overshooting it. I honestly couldn't give two shits. I get like a Harley Race vibe from her, where like when she wears the title and she's talking about the title, she is fucking legit. Because everybody used to say that about Harley. Like, you'd be a guy that would break your fingers off to remain NWA heavyweight champion. And Shayna, she's like, yeah, I'm NXT Women's Champion because those arms that you're so proud of, I'll tear them off. And like, it works. And honestly, her even having a posse, like, to me, that's just gravy. I feel like Shayna's grown in such confidence. She doesn't even need them. Like, she could be on her own, and I'd still believe it.
But it's like a heater, though. Like, the whole point of the extra people is that it kind of allows her to be this badass, but because she is such like a dirty cheater in the ring, it's a lot easier to get behind her opponent. And that's what NXT needs right now, because there are a lot of people, and I even mentioned, Darkstar earlier, that are having trouble deciding who to root for in this. And if anything, I do feel like NXT has to a degree failed to really get the NXT audience behind Bianca, because, she's been a heel her entire career in NXT, and now all of a sudden she's going against Shayna, and you just expect people to flip on a dime without her character changing at all. And I don't see how you expect that to work. Like, there wasn't even necessarily signs of that happening prior to this. Like, you didn't have, whenever her music would hit, you didn't have these like big pops like Velveteen Dream was getting when he was still supposed to be a heel. So I really think that NXT could have handled that situation a lot better.
I'm actually really glad you mentioned Velveteen Dream, dude, because that was the exact vibe that I got, that NXT believed that they had another Velveteen
situation. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it would be. I feel like their situations are almost switched, because I feel like NXT was really late to pull the trigger on Dream turning face, where they could have done it a lot earlier, and they're too early, or maybe just completely off base with Bianca, because Velveteen was getting very babyface reactions for months before they really officially pulled the trigger on him turning. Whereas with Bianca, she's going into a match where she's expected to be the babyface, and I don't think she has babyface like credibility in the eyes of the crowd much at all. Like, honestly, at Phoenix, I don't even think I would be all that surprised if it was a split crowd, and if, Shayna got a lot more cheers than she should, even despite cheating as much as she does now.
And even though she is cheating more, I still feel like she's got that air of credibility. And I wouldn't say as much as Undisputed Era, because I feel like Undisputed Era is untouchable right now, but I would say that Shayna, in her own way, has that air of cool about her. Came in with this background and pretty much ruled the roost from day one. And I think people gravitate to that. I remember Jim Ross said once, and I think it was kind of a deceptively true statement, like it was just very simplistic and straightforward. People love a winner. And even though Shayna does cheat a lot, I completely agree with you. She has that perception of a winner. And I think people are just very attracted to that. I think Bianca has it as well in her own way. But again, it hasn't matured enough yet, which is why I'm excited that she's having this match. I want to see what she can do on the big stage, the same way I was salivating to see what Dream can do. And I'm still very much looking forward to it. But I got to say, like, on the mic, Bianca did fine. But Shayna, especially with that one line, I'm going to change your vocabulary. Like, that's how you talk like a champion. It's so good, dude. I really love this a lot, especially on Shayna's end.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Let's move on. Up next, we had our second match of the night, Adrian Jowd versus Dominik Dijakovic. I really enjoyed Jowd's style in this, because he started with like a really cool like capoeira style, and then he kind of led into almost like really legit chain wrestling. And I thought that the chain wrestling was really impressive. He, incorporated a capoeira kick into his offense at one point. Really good stuff. But Dijakovic is just so impressive and so powerful and so athletic for a guy his size. This was a really strange example where the guy that we are less familiar with was still not, like, the guy that we're less familiar with was impressive, but that still doesn't make him a more impressive prospect than the guy that we were more familiar with. Because, like, Jowd was impressive, but he's also like 5 or 6 years older than Dijakovic, and the less experienced thing shows up a lot and that kind of thing. So, as excited as I was for Jowd in this, Dijakovic, make no mistake about it, is the star here.
Oh, dude, I really thought this was a fun match. I'll give Jowd his credit. Like, seeing the capoeira and the grappling, like, that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dijakovic, dude. Like, I even said on live reactions, just to kind of mine that real quick, that I know that they had plans to give Lars like this big push with Cena, allegedly, and we all know like how that went down. If you were to give Dijakovic a push like that out of the gate, I'd buy it. Like, with his size and how he carries himself, the dude is fucking legit. I look at him, and to be perfectly honest, like, I know I'm coming out with the obscure references left and right tonight between Deuce and Domino and now this, but, like, I look at a guy like Dijakovic, and I think it's everything that WWE wanted Nathan Jones to be at the time. Because he's got this size and the way he moves and the stuff he can do, but he's not going to fall apart. Like he has been bred into the wrestling industry with his time in ROH and elsewhere. Like, he's molded for this.
Right. So it's Nathan Jones with actual wrestling ability.
Exactly. And that's a scary combination, because I could understand at the time, looking back, why WWE poured so much into Nathan Jones and wanted so much for him. It was a cool backstory, great look. And now with Dijakovic, he's got this menacing aura about him. The feast your eyes, I could see that getting over. the first time you put that Feast Your Eyes in a legitimate program, whether it be with like an Ono or Dijakovic seems to be, I guess, more heel right now, maybe a Keith Lee or a Riddle, it'll get over with people.
That's the wave of the future, man. These 3-syllable catchphrases, like it's all like, it seems like it's all kind of coming from the origin of Rest in Peace. Well, now we've already discussed the whole like fade to black thing with Alistair, but we can't overlook Braun Strowman's get these hands. Like these 3-syllable catchphrases are going to start catching on big time.
Oh, dude, abso-fucking-lutely. I am so excited for the future because I just feel like guys like Dijakovic are leading the fucking charge. And the Feast Your Eyes finisher is legit. If we're talking about like finisher 2019 for TWitWoW year-end awards, I already think about it. You know, as soon as Wrestle Kingdom comes in and stuff, I think about that shit. Feast Your Eyes is immediately gonna be like in my top contender list because I freaking love how that shit comes off. And I still wouldn't be surprised if this man was North American champion by year's end. So let's fucking do it, man. I'm loving Dijakovic.
Yeah, he's really impressive. He does win, though, with the discus boot into the Feast Your Eyes. And then we get into our next segment, which was a War Raiders hype video. They do this really awesome, like, it's not really a Viking funeral because that involves lighting a body on fire while it's in a boat out on like a lake or something. But they are like lighting stuff on fire, and it's like steel chairs with Undisputed Era logos on them and stuff like that. And it's really cool visually with like all of this like Viking imagery and shit. And they say like, we're basically celebrating our victory. Like they're basically saying like, now that we know we've got our title shot, we are celebrating because we know we're going to win them from you. And I love that. That makes me so happy.
Dude, I love it. I love the way these guys carry themselves. I love just how confident they are going into this. It's fucking amazing. You and I have been a big fan of War Raiders for a long time. And just to really see them come into their own and do something like this, I just think is the coolest fucking shit, dude. I am so ready for this tag title match at TakeOver Phoenix. That whole card is stacked that you can't even ask me the match I'm anticipating the most, because for a card like this, the way it's looking, the answer really is all of them. And this definitely stands like, you know, among them, because this tag team wrestling is going to be fucking insane. I love this. I love the aesthetic of it, you know, going back to the Viking roots. And just everything about this is perfect. Huge fan. Huge fucking fan. So anything else you want to say?
Well, I don't think I have anything to add, so we can move on. After the War Raiders hype video, we did get an NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool recap. If you want to know our thoughts on that, literally just go find our brief little discussion on it in the live reaction, because we did talk about it, touched on it briefly.
Yeah.
But then we get to our third match of the night, which is Johnny Gargano versus Humberto Carrillo. And I loved this match. Carrillo, to me, is an absolute star. And we even, well, when I say we, it's really just me. I even, in our live reaction, I think that Humberto Carrillo and Andrade can be the next Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, which obviously I know huge praise, but I think talent-wise that they are on a level similar to those guys to be able to pull it off. And I really, would anyone challenge me saying that Andrade at 29 is on a similar level to what Eddie was at 29?
After the fucking match he had on Tuesday, I wouldn't.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, and Carrillo is like 5 or 6 years younger than him, which is similar to the age distance between Ray and Eddie. Like, it's perfect. The only major difference, to me at least, is, well, actually two major differences. First of all, Carrillo isn't masked anymore. He was before WWE, but he's not anymore. But Ray wasn't masked at most of the time in WCW anyway. So, you know, is it really relevant? But then the other big difference is Carrillo is bigger than Andrade, which is the biggest difference because obviously Ray was always much smaller than Eddie. And that kind of made like a perfectly natural face-heel dynamic. But I still think it's going to work, man. Though Carrillo being so much bigger than Johnny really threw me off in this match, man. It was crazy to see to me. Like, I was like, every time they interacted, like they got physical, it was just so weird to me to see this like super flashy highlight reel baby face be that much bigger than his like grimy heel opponent. It was just weird to me.
Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure.
And I'm looking forward though to see, and really it's almost that much more unfortunate Theo was on 205 this week because I want to see him as, like a bigger high flyer. I want to see him go against bigger heels. Like I want to see him against Samoa Joe. I want to see him against, fucking I can't even think of another big heel right now. John, help me out.
Let's see, Samoa Joe. Who's another big heel?
Randy Orton. Shit, yes, please.
Yeah, that would work. But yeah, man, like just to give my very brief thoughts, because I feel like you covered most of the review, at least what I wanted you to, because I know how big you were on this match. Johnny continues to impress. This guy can work as a babyface or as a heel, because when you're Johnny Wrestling, that's a nickname that can either be a babyface nickname or a heel one, depending on how you carry it and how you exude it. And Johnny exudes it with a lot of confidence. Hell, it's damn near cockiness, if not full-blown cockiness. And it just works. I was surprised that the match ended with the slingshot DDT, but you know what? Not every opponent needs your best shot, and I think that's another way that we kind of establish, again, like a pecking order. Carrillo has a lot of potential, but he's not a top-tier talent yet. I wouldn't even say he's a full-blown threat yet, so him losing to a DDT, that's fine.
Carrillo versus McIntyre.
Yeah, dude. But no, like I think Carrillo's story and his development and his maturation over the course of this year into like early, I guess, 2020, it's going to be really a privilege to watch because he's already working 205 Live with Murphy. He's done this match with Gargano. I mean, honestly, dude, I'm shooting my shot. I'm still waiting for Murphy to get the Mustafa Ali treatment because I know he would take the ball and fucking run with it. But you can add Carrillo to that list. I'd love for him to be another Mustafa Ali, drive to the SmackDown or whatever show the Joes and this one and that one is on, and fucking, tear it up there and show what he can do. He has an incredible upside. Yeah. And we got to see a little bit of that tonight, and I was very privileged to see it. So good shit.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I think we can move on then. Up next, we had Tommaso Ciampa promo, and he's your daddy, so I'll let you talk about him.
I mean, dude, first of all, Ciampa Daddy has all the correct opinions, and there was no shortage of them here because he pretty much said that Aleister Black, like, he's a puppet, and he's the best puppet, and Ciampa's the puppet master. And, he talks about, like, Black, you're so fired up to fight, but the champ fights on the biggest stage. So, yeah, we are going to wait till TakeOver Phoenix because I like the main stage. I belong on the main stage. Not that you would know anything about that because when Aleister was NXT champion, he never main evented a TakeOver. So Ciampa pretty much saying, yeah, you want to fight me next year. That's not going to happen. I'm the champion. Champion belongs in the main event. Again, you wouldn't know that. You never did it when you were NXT champion, but I'm not you. I'm fucking Tommaso Ciampa, and I love it. I love that this guy is so menacing and so confident, and yet you can't even rebuke him, though. Like any other heel that's normally of that chicken shit variety, you're like, oh, but you tapped out or you did this cheaty thing or that. But everything Ciampa has said, because he's never said, like, I won't cheat or I'll beat you straight. Like, everything he said is, I'm the top guy. I'm going to main event. I'm going to do this. And everything he has said out of his own mouth has been true. So, like, he speaks with this menacing kind of quality.
Conviction.
And yeah, menacing conviction. Yeah. And it's like, you can't even say that he is wrong. Like, literally, my retort would be, whether I was a fan or not, where's the lie, though? Because nobody's exposed this dude. Hell, Johnny Gargano broke himself trying to expose Ciampa. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. He was so confident, like, oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to end this tyranny. I'm going to expose this nightmare. Motherfucker, you got sucked in. Like, that's just how good Ciampa is. So, yeah, I mean, I love Aleister. I think Aleister's on his best game right now in his NXT run. Like, he just has never been better. But Ciampa is still God tier. What this man has done with the NXT title. And here's the thing, like, they may rank Tommaso Ciampa, which I would even debate that personally, but we're not going to do that here. This isn't the space for that. But if people were ranking NXT champions, maybe Tommaso would be on the lower end in terms of match quality, like in ring. But as a character, as a talker, this guy is one of the best champions that belt has had. Easily to me. Easily. And yeah, I love this. And I think Black Ciampa 2 at Phoenix is going to kick fucking ass. I can't wait for it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely the match on that show that I'm most looking forward to. Although Gargano Ricochet is definitely up there too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That said, though, we did get a Velveteen Dream promo as well, and unfortunately, we don't know of any Velveteen Dream match that might be on the Takeover card. So that's the first Takeover the Dream might not be on in, I want to say, over a year, really. But yeah, he basically just kind of talks about how all these legends have been praising him and basically kind of building him up as almost like a chosen one type.
Yeah, pretty much the same promo we got from him last week, honestly. So I really got nothing to say because he did this same thing either last week or 2 weeks ago. Nothing's changed. It's just him talking, him showing the tweets, and him making promises. But the only difference, which I would say is a pretty big difference, is that it did lead into he is returning to NXT next week.
Yes.
So I'm so looking forward to that because again, Dream ranked so high on my NXT Fave 5 in the latest installment we did, which again, guys, that's my favorite series we do. Go check them out on the channel if you have no idea what I'm talking about. It's a great time to just sit back and appreciate the fandom of your two hosts here. So yeah, I can't wait to see him next week, and hopefully he gets the ball rolling for something for TakeOver Phoenix. But that aside, what came after this?
The main event of the evening, Cassius Ohno versus Keith Lee. Ohno somehow managed to not just get destroyed in 5 minutes in this match, and by just kind of dragging the match out and kind of just not getting beat quickly, he managed to take advantage of an opportunity when Keith Lee unintentionally back elbowed the referee right in the face. Ohno was able to get a low blow in on Lee, which led to his discus elbow and him picking up the win. So Cassius Ohno gets a win over Keith Lee. Very unfortunate, but what are you going to do? And then after the match, Matt Riddle comes out for the save and stares down Ohno. So I'm wondering if that match is going to be on TakeOver, or if it's going to be like one of those things where like it happens right before TakeOver and we see it on the following NXT or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, dude. Really, you went through the match so quickly, and I feel pretty much the same way. Like, Ohno bores me as a heel. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have anywhere close to that Ciampa quality where he walks in with the belt, and I'm anticipating like it's tonight the night he loses it. What's he gonna do to keep it? That kind of thing. Ohno bores me. I feel like the ship has sailed on him long ago. Really, I'm not mad that Lee lost. I'm not even mad like the way he lost or whatever, or even to the fact that it was to Cassius Ohno. I think the most egregious thing done to Keith Lee here was that he was not even necessarily a like sovereign competitor, but he was more just a bridge within an existing feud between Riddle and Ohno. Like he was a narrative device. And it really sucks that Lee's already being used that way this early in his run. But as we said on live reactions, not everybody can be a main event player at once. Not everybody can be vying for the North American title or NXT title or this, that, or the other. And I know that Lee has the look and the ability to get out of this hole and be a part of his own programs. And I'm just eagerly awaiting that day because fuck Cassius Ohno and fuck Keith Lee being used like this. But again, I understand why. Just a matter of getting out of it. So, yeah, Ohno wins. And there's really nothing more to say than that because Ohno wasn't even worth the energy I gave this, honestly. So,
yeah. All right. Well, that's actually the end of the show. So I guess you can send us into our next segment and use your little bridge and all that stuff.
Absolutely, guys. Before we get into our final segment, I want to get to this very quickly this week. First of all, follow Ashton on Twitter. His pinned tweet is the TwitWoW schedule for the month of January. So every recording we have scheduled, as well as any updates about recordings being moved, redacted, or added, you can all keep abreast of it by following Ashton on Twitter, keeping up with his pinned tweet. It's all right there for you. My pinned tweet, on the other hand, is to collect Q&A questions. Q&A is January 31st. It's the last Thursday of every month. Happens to fall on literally the end of January this month, the 31st. Again, pinned tweet to collect your questions. The way we break it down, non-Patreon donors get up to 3 questions per Q&A. Those who donate to the Patreon get up to 5 Q&A questions. More on that in a moment. So please check my pinned tweet out if you're interested in participating in a Q&A. I happen to think it's a lot of fun. A lot of creative questions get thrown at us. Be a part of the conversation. Switching gears, check out the TwitWoW Facebook page. Leave a like if you're there. You can also inbox us and leave comments on content and submit your questions there. That's one medium that you can submit your questions. Teespring store, sell a lot of merch. We have TwitWoW specific merch. I'm a TwitWoW guy. I'm a TwitWoW girl. We also have a TwitWoW t-shirt with the opening intro to the show. It's become pretty iconic, I would like to think. Iconic! We also have wrestler-specific merch. Kevin Owens, because he's a father, damn it.
Oh, no, you do. Believe it or not, one of the because he's a father, damn it, shirts got taken down for some reason. Like, I guess Teespring thought that I was using some kind of copyrighted material. I have no clue, but it got taken down, so I don't even know.
Teespring, fatherhood will never be copyrighted. Shame on you. That man has a family. Not that he would.
Yeah, it's weird because it was the original design too. It was the one that I've had up the longest. Like, I don't know where that shit came from.
And guys, if I'll tell you, a shirt that I think has really gone high in value for me personally, after the week Andrade has had and after LIJ owning New Japan, we've got a Tranquilo shirt. So if you're feeling LIJ dominance in New Japan, or if you're feeling like 2019 really is going to be the year of Andrade, you want to show up and show out, do it in a Tranquilo t-shirt. It'll look fucking great on you, and we have plenty more offerings on the Teespring store. Final thing I want to plug very quickly, guys, and this is the most important, the TWitWoW Patreon. I'm going to pull it up here and show you guys where we're at. We are currently sitting at $84 this month. Now, that did get us to live react to both NXT and Impact Wrestling this month. We're going to be doing Impact the next 2 Fridays here to round out the month of January, and we're going to do NXT live reactions again next week. So that's that. But our goal is usually like around the $120 range, because that opens up a lot of our options. We had like one new option that you guys can vote on for what we live react to for the following month. And so we always like to hit our target. And if you're thinking, oh, I like options, because maybe they'll put, I don't know, AEW on the table or Ring of Honor, and I like those shows. How can I get them to do that? The best way to be a part of the conversation and to have your voice heard where it really counts, donate $3 to the Patreon and get access to the TWitWoW Discord. Now, the Discord to me has a lot of benefits, because I was just talking about Q&A, which, by the way, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and yes, Discord. When you have Discord membership, you can submit your questions there. And remember, Discord members and really Patreon donors in general get 5 Q&A questions compared to only 3 for non-Patreon donors. So that's 2 extra questions. And believe me, you can do a lot with 2 extra questions. I've seen some of the questions you guys come up with. And not only that, it's a great fan community. You know, we talk about Raw, we talk about SmackDown, we talk about wrestling, talk about movies and shows and anime, just everything. If you can think to talk about it, we probably already are in the Discord. So what are you waiting for? We're waiting for you. Come join us. It's a lot of fun. And if you're thinking, yeah, you know, I'm a part of a few Discord communities and it's all cool and all and camaraderie's nice, but what about me? Well, I hear you. As a heel, I hear you. And so my answer to that is, what if we said that the more you maintain your Discord membership, the more you keep donating those $3 to Patreon, the bigger your power becomes? Because, see, we have, for every Patreon donor, a TWitWoW account, and you get your own personal balance of funds you've accrued, and you can use those funds for content control. I always use a very straightforward formula when we do this. Say you're on the Discord for 10 months. That's $3 a month. That comes out to $30. You can cash all $30 of those in for a live reaction to a 3-hour show of your choosing. You can get live reactions from us, reviews from us. You can get live reactions and reviews from us. Certain shows will cost you a bit extra, like, you know, hardcore shows. It's all broken down in the Patreon. If you want to know what your options are, and if you want to pull a Mark Schoeneman and you want to do the math and you want to get the most bang for your buck, it's all broken down for you in the Patreon to help you, and it can all begin with a straightforward $3 donation to get Discord membership. So if you can do it, we love you for it, and we thank you, because that's what allows Team TWitWoW to do what we do. If not, I perfectly understand. You know, it's just always putting the option out there. So with all of that discussed, we can get to what I know you guys have been waiting for: high spots and low shots. And you know what? I'm going to keep my low shot very straightforward. Keith Lee.
Yeah.
You know, it was a rough fucking night for this dude, and I ain't trying to hate. I think you guys all know that I am a Keith Lee fan. I'm rooting for the dude. But a bad night's a bad night. Happens to everybody. I'm pretty sure even on this podcast, I've given Johnny Mundo a low shot once or twice. So, Keith Lee, you can take this one. I know you'll bounce back, brother, and everybody will bask in your glory. But, Ashton, who is your low shot tonight?
You know, it's really tempting to just sign on to that, because I really don't want to give my low shot to any of the other losers of this show, because, like, Jowd has a nice showing. Carrillo had a great showing. We had no expectations for the Metro brothers, right? So I think I just have to, like, sign on and be like, yeah, Keith Lee, like, far and away had the worst night of the night, because I think everyone going into this fully expected Keith Lee to pick up a pretty easy victory over Ono. And not only did he not pick up an easy victory, but he didn't pick up a victory at all. He fucking lost. So yeah, I'm just gonna sign on, and we're gonna have low shot here, Keith Lee, because he had that bad of a night.
Hey, brother, sometimes it's better to be right than to be different. And I feel like that's, the case tonight.
It's very rare. It's very rare that those are not the same thing. Usually to be different is also to be right. But in this case, I definitely would rather, be, stick along with the already established precedent than try and change things up.
Yeah, we don't need you breaking your arm on this podcast trying to reach for any other option. So, high spot. See, this is a bit tougher, and this is where I do feel like it's more of an open field. I'll say for me, honestly, even though she was left in the segment fuming, I actually no. You know what? I gotta give my high spot to fucking Ciampa Daddy. He's to me, even with WWE kind of reworking the product a little bit, it's a close race between him and Bryan, but I still think Ciampa's the best champion in the company. Like main champion, I mean. I guess you'd open the field more if you included every title. But I just feel like Ciampa is one of the most legit champions they have in all of WWE. And he just continues to prove that tonight with another ace promo. This dude is killing it. It's another great night because he's the champion and he's doing what the champion's supposed to do. He's promoting his fights. He's talking people in the fucking building. And he's working this angle and promoting it without getting physical, without even being in the arena. That's just how powerful his words are, and that's how credible he is when he speaks. So yeah, Ciampa's an easy high spot for me, dude.
And you know what? I'll take the high spot that you were tempted to take. I'll pick up right where you left off. Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
She really did cut one hell of a promo tonight. She she cut down her challenger for the title. With the underrated or with the overrated line, I think she did a good job on the mic. Always very intimidating, and we even had a discussion about how she is one of the top women talkers that WWE has under contract right now. So major props to Shayna. High spot for me, and that's mostly just because again, like I don't want to give my high spot to any of the winners because like Street Profits got beat down. Dijakovic won a match that he should have won, and he didn't really do anything that we haven't already seen from him before in that match. Gargano was the less impressive performer out of the two in his match, and nobody likes Ono. So I don't really want to give my high spot to one of the winners of the matches either. So yeah, it just comes down to, who had the most impressive night. And to me, if aside from Ciampa, it was definitely Shayna. So Shayna gets my high spot. Honorary mention to the War Raiders because their Viking funeral type thing that they did was really cool too.
That was a cool fucking segment, man. That almost had like a early 2000s, like early to mid 2000s Undertaker style segment. I dug it, except of course with the Viking aesthetic, which I was really big on. Yeah, man, I love it. That's it for you. That'll close it out for you. And with that said, guys, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment on the video when it's done processing. What do you think of Humberto Carrillo? How far do you see this prospect going? What do you think about the Johnny Gargano Ricochet feud for the North American Championship? What do you think Velveteen Dream is going to do at NXT TakeOver Phoenix? And are you excited about whatever you think he might do? Tommaso Ciampa, are you as hyped for Black Ciampa 2 as I am? Or are you just looking forward to Ciampa potentially anyway? Because, I mean, we never know. A title change can happen at any time. But Ciampa getting over this feud and maybe doing another angle. Talk to us. What are just your thoughts in general on the NXT product at the moment? We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. Because the more likes you leave, the more because when you're the best at what you do, I'm sorry guys, brain fart this week. When you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Subscribe to your new favorite wrestling podcast if you haven't. Click the bell icon for notifications so that you never again miss any of that sweet TWitWoW goodness. And do we have any other recordings lined up for this week, brother?
Yeah, brother. Friday night live reaction.
Oh, that's right. Friday night at 10. Impact on Twitch. It's still new territory for me, guy. We did one, and I still can't believe we're covering Impact in 2019. So join us on Friday, guys, at 10. where Johnny Impact is going to have to fend off undeserving meanies for his Impact Championship because he has to, I don't know, prove a point or some nebulous.
And I was even going to say, to be fair, I would rather be covering Impact in 2019 than having covered it at any point from like 2008 to 2018. So
that is a fair point, brother. That is a fair point. I also know on Impact that we are going to have Rich Swann defending the X Division Championship. So that's going to be a cool thing and a lot more. So I hope you guys join us. I know we even got some new eyes on TWitWoW because we're Impact coverage. So I hope it's just as big a gathering this week as it was last week. I hope to see you there, guys. And until then, tune in. Peace out.